Long time no chat here on the No Bullshit Manifestation Show. Actually, not that long of a time, but it feels like a long time because I haven't released a podcast episode in almost a month. But I'm back and I'm excited on this podcast episode to share with you some of the shifts and changes that have been going on for me behind the scenes and why I have taken a break from podcasting and what you can expect moving forward. What's up, and welcome to the No Bullshit Manifestation Show, the podcast that demystifies all of the nonsense that surrounds manifestation and gives you a realistic view of what it's like to be on a personal, professional, and spiritual growth journey. I'm your host, Kat Kozad, manifestation and money mindset expert, and I'm so happy you're here. Let's fucking do this thing. Oh my gosh, guys, I missed you. And I'm so grateful for all of you who are here listening to the No Bullshit Manifestation Show today. There has been so much that has been going on behind the scenes. And while it would have been incredible to take you on the journey whilst I was going through all of the things that I've been experiencing, I also didn't really know how to articulate them during the moment and how to put together a message for all of you throughout the midst of it. So therefore, I took the past month really as a moment to step away, reset, regather, get my thoughts together so that I'm able to show up here and give y'all the juice that I know that you come to the podcast for. So with that being said, story time of where I have been, what's been going on, and what you can expect from me moving forward. So a little after my 27th birthday, so for anybody who is new here or who wasn't aware on the podcast, my 27th birthday was at the beginning of February. And at the beginning of February, I literally was like, oh my God, I'm on top of the world. Nothing can stop me. Nothing can touch me. This is such an incredible feeling. Like, this is the life that I have been manifesting for myself, and I have arrived at it. And at that time, I very much so was feeling incredibly comfortable in my business, in my finances, in how I was feeling in New York City, and how everything was playing out in my life. Literally, like the life that I had been manifesting for myself for the past 2 years, and more specifically, the past year, felt as though it really hit this place of like, wow, like I've arrived. I am here. And I had a day like right after Valentine's Day where I was hanging out with a group of friends. We saw Sam Smith and some other famous people. And it literally just, if you could look into my brain, look into my journal, look into the vision boards of what I had been manifesting for myself, you'd be able to pull it all together and see the fact that everything that I had wanted had really manifested. And it was to be here in New York City, have elite social circles, be having such incredible success inside of my business, coaching these incredible women, doing all of these big things that I had wanted for such a long time. And probably like 2-3 days after that one night that I was out and I saw Sam Smith and some other famous people, I woke up one morning and I just kind of felt off, and I noticed that I wanted to distract myself. And so I was really just like binging TikTok, spending a lot of time on my phone, eating a lot of sweet stuff, not going to the gym, like knowing that there was something there, but I didn't really want to take a look at it or recognize whatever it was. And so I spent probably a week or so just like really numbing myself out to things. And in the past, when I would numb myself out to things, I would use alcohol and drugs and party and like go out and do that kind of stuff. And that is no longer something that I do. That is no longer something that is a part of my identity or what I choose to put time, energy, or effort into. And so I was finding different ways to numb out and kind of dissociate. And finally, I woke up one morning and I was like, I feel like absolute shit. And I finally took a moment to slow down, get present with myself, open up my journal, and start to brain dump everything that I had been pushing back and numbing out into my journal. And one of the things that I recognized was that whilst I had manifested everything that I wanted for myself, it still felt as though there wasn't something that was clicking or aligning in the way that I wanted it to, which scared the living shit out of me because I was like, oh my God, like I literally have manifested every single thing that I thought that I wanted, and I still feel like shit. Like, what is going on here? So for the next 2-3 weeks after that, I kind of went into this state of like, do I actually want any of this? Like, did I just think that I wanted these things because it would look good or because I thought it would make me feel some sort of way or whatever it may be? And I really went into this state of going so internal and questioning every single thing that I've created for myself and every single thing that I've done over the past few years. And while in the past that would have scared the shit out of me to question myself in that kind of way and get so up close and personal in the way of, did I do these things from an egoic place? Did I do these things because I thought it would look good on paper? Did I do these things to disprove other people or to get an ego high or whatever it may be? Or did I do these things from a heart-centered place? And did I choose these things for myself because my heart, my soul actually wanted them? But at this point in my life and with how much inner work I've done, going into all of these questions and allowing myself to look at them so closely and examine the way in which I have shown up and presented myself and done things over the past few years didn't scare me, because I know that the closer you allow yourself to become to yourself and the more you're willing to ask yourself questions, whether they hold any truth or not, the more and more you actually expose your heart and the more and more you actually expose your soul, which is exactly what this process really allowed me to do. And I feel as though through what kind of felt like a little bit of a breakdown, I've been calling it a manic breakdown, which I don't mean to laugh at that for anybody who has been through a manic breakdown or a breakdown of any sort, because it can feel really heavy when you're in it. But for me, looking back on this experience, it was so necessary because it's allowed me to crack open and expose so many areas that I feel as though I was really settling or getting comfortable, and help expose more of the things that I'm wanting to lean towards and really just strengthen my relationship with the universe and with God and with my intuition in ways that I've never felt in the past. And so one really cool experience throughout this entire thing was I had a dream one night in the midst of my breakdown where I was visited by one of my best friends, Evie. And my best friend Evie is like fucking psychic, like insanely psychic, insanely intuitive. And she came to me in this dream and she had a message for me about this upcoming year. And I remember in the dream I was really annoyed with her and I didn't want to hear what she was saying. And I couldn't remember any of the message of what she had for me. And so in the days following, I just knew intuitively so deeply in the fact that what Evie said to me in that dream actually related to my real everyday life. And I so desperately wanted to remember what she said to me in the dream. So a few days into it, she messaged me and was just like, hey, just got the intuitive ping to reach out to you. Like, hope you're doing well. Know that I'm always here, XYZ. And I said, oh my God, Evie, I had a dream about you and you had an intuitive message for me about this year, and I don't remember what it was, but if you remember, please let me know. And she was like, okay, like I have a message, not sure what it was that you got in your dream. It's all very blurry to me, but the thing that I'm picking up on is that it's surrounding your ego. And so I took that information, and over the next few days, I really just posed the question to the universe, to my subconscious mind, to my intuition, to my soul, to reveal this message to me of what it was that Evie came to me in this dream with. And one night I went to bed and I said, before I went to bed, universe, God, angels, intuition, soul exposed to me what this message was, either through my dream tonight or when I wake up in the morning. And so I slept through the night, and when I woke up in the morning, I immediately grabbed my journal, and the message came back to me, which was the fact that my life and everything that I'm doing is going to turn out even better than I could have ever imagined, but it's going to look completely different than the way I think it's going to go and the plans that I have had for myself, which felt really scary for a few days because I've created this vision of what I think my life, what I think my career, what I think my relationships, what I think so many things are going to look like. And remembering that this message is around the fact that things are going to turn out better than I could have ever imagined them for myself, but it's not going to look anything like I think it's going to or thought it was going to, kind of put me in a moment of slowing down and being like, okay, like now I have a piece of information. I have some guidance of where I can start to do the inner work and what ways I can start to support myself, but absolutely no direction of what that was. So in all honesty, full transparency, the past month of me not showing up in podcasting has really been because I have been allowing myself the space to receive the answers, receive the messages, receive the guidance around what direction I get to start to take things. And over the past month, I had the opportunity to travel to the UK with my mom. We were there for 2 weeks. We spent time with our family, got to just slow down, disconnect, be in my own energy, reconnect to the things that are so important to me, and really, honestly, just get back to the core of who I am in a way that I feel like I haven't over the past few years. And while the direction and what I am going to be creating moving forward is still kind of shaping itself and becoming clearer and clearer by the day, I have definitely received and understood the message of the fact that there's so much more to what I have to offer to the world than just talking about manifestation. And that's not to say that the messages, the coaching, the wisdoms that I have put out into the world over the past 3 years since starting this business have not been important and have not served such an incredible purpose. But I know that this is just a piece of the pie and just a piece of the equation. And with admitting that to myself and coming to terms with that, it's brought me so much peace, and it's brought me so much relief, so much freedom, so much space, and so much inspiration. Because in admitting that to myself and coming to terms with the fact that this is about more than just manifestation, it's opened so many doorways to understand and recognize what we're capable of creating together. Because at the end of the day, I know that I am here in this human body, in this lifetime, in this specific timeline to make an impact on the world. I've known that since I was a little girl. I've felt that so strongly in my bones. And this realization and this moment of clarity has helped me really see the fact that we've done so much together already with this podcast, with my social media platforms, with the coaching that I've done, with the lives that I've impacted, but this is literally just a fraction of what is possible. And in being accepting and okay with the level that I had gotten to and the dreams in which I had manifested right around my birthday, like I was explaining, and not stretching myself past that point would have been a disservice to who I am and what I am capable of and the impact that I'm supposed to make on the world. And so the past few weeks, over the past month since releasing the last podcast episode, it's really been about understanding that I've already accomplished what I thought the dream was, but there's a dream beyond the dream. And that dream beyond the dream yes, absolutely, manifestation is at the basis of it, because manifestation is at the basis of every single thing in our lives. And I want to say that, and I want to reiterate that, because I think that a lot of the times people see and think about manifestation in the way that it's just journaling, just doing visualization exercises, doing these different methods that you see online, doing X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, we are manifesting every single thing into our lives. So whether we are talking about manifestation or not, manifestation is still at the core of it. Manifestation is the foundation of your life. And therefore, building on top of that, we can all know that manifestation is the center of it, but we don't have to always focus all of our energy and effort and mindset and emotion on thinking about manifestation. And therefore, from that place, there's more room to talk about some of the real shit that goes on. If you have been here listening to the podcast, know that I have been sober for over a year now and am so passionate about the non-alcoholic community, helping people understand that there's options for them to still live and connect and socialize and be the best version of themselves independent of substances. That is something that you'll hear more about on the podcast. And I'm also so passionate about helping people come to a place of acceptance in their bodies, in the skin that they're in the way that they look, in the weight that they carry, because that is something that I have experienced and struggled with my entire life up until the past year or so. So having more real conversations about our bodies and body acceptance and cultivating that love and acceptance inside of yourself, because again, that is manifestation at its core. That is the key. If you don't feel safe, if you don't feel secure or happy, or at least an acceptance of being inside of your body, then manifesting what you want into your life is going to become incredibly challenging. And so many other real ass things are going to be talked about on this podcast, because honestly, that's why I started it in the first place. The No Bullshit Manifestation Show, the core of it was always to show up and have these real conversations, the raw conversations, the things that people don't want to talk about because it's taboo in our society, or we feel shame or embarrassment or whatever it may be surrounding these different things. And for such a long time, I felt as though I had to put up this barrier to people seeing my flaws or my humanness, because it felt as though it was going to take away some of my authority or credibility in the fact that I have been capable of manifesting everything that I've wanted into my life thus far. And while, yes, I have showed up incredibly vulnerable and shared so many different things with you guys, it's been in a way that I've been comfortable with. It's been in a way that has still kept me incredibly safe from the real raw shit that I've oftentimes experienced. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I also want to create the level of vulnerability and transparency and realness and humanness with you guys to help you understand that at the end of the day, I am so incredibly flawed, and I am so incredibly okay with that, because there's so many misconceptions, as we always talk about on the podcast, in the world of manifestation. And I think that a lot of the times we think that in order to manifest what you want into your life, you have to become this higher, greater, more amazing, more perfect version of yourself, this higher version that a lot of the times we put on the pedestal, and it actually holds us back from having, being, and doing whatever it is that we want, because at the end of the day, we're all always going to be human, and we're all always going to be flawed. And your flaws are not something that detract or take away from you, but instead actually make you more of who you are. They are not things to fix. They are not things to get rid of. They are not things that you need to hide or be ashamed of, but instead things that actually allow you to be more of who you are, more of who you came into this human body to be, and who you get to be loved because of. And so, like I said, we're still going to be talking about manifestation, just in a different way. I'm done talking about all of the methods and misconceptions and all of these different things. And of course, I'll still address those in podcast episodes as they come up, but that is not the core theme. The core theme is going to run so much deeper than that. We're going to get even more real, even more raw, connect deeper to our humanness and to these things that are oftentimes not talked about, because we're either scared to talk about them, embarrassed to talk about them, or shameful to talk about them. We are here for the real shit on this podcast, and I really want to bring that intention back to the table and to the equation. And in this month off of podcasting, I appreciate y'all so much because I've had so many messages asking me if I'm okay and when the next podcast episode is going to be, and so on and so forth. And so this is your message to let you know that yes, absolutely, I'm okay. Just like you need to fuel up your car or your boat or your airplane or your rocket ship or whatever you may need to fuel up, I needed to fuel up. I needed to take time for myself to get real, get honest with myself, ask myself the important questions, and be okay with the fact that I had a vision of how I thought things were going to go and how I thought things needed to be in order to be quote unquote successful in what I've been doing, and really release and detach from that idea so that I can just speak and operate from a truly heart-centered place. With that being said, there's not going to be as many podcast episodes that are going to be released. I was releasing 2 podcast episodes a week prior to this break, and now we're just going to have 1 podcast episode a week so that I can truly give you all of me, give you all the goods, all the juice on the things that we're going to be talking about in these podcast episodes, because like I said, we're going deeper, we're getting realer, and that requires a lot of energy and focus and realness. And for that reason, we are going down to 1 podcast episode a week. It's going to be so fucking good though. And in the meantime, I know that you guys love to get these bits of wisdom, see what I'm up to, all of the different things. So if you are not already following me on Instagram, go follow me on Instagram. If you want daily doses of Kat, go follow me on Instagram, because I'm also sharing more of myself more authentically on Instagram and giving you that no bullshit perspective on life, on love, on all of the different things that we experience in our lives. So there you are. That is where I've been, what's been up. I know that was kind of like a jumbled explanation of where I've been and what's been going on and the manic breakdown and all of the things. But what I will say to wrap up this podcast episode is that oftentimes when we have manifested what we desire into our lives, we will then want something more. We'll want to change things up. And that doesn't negate or take away from those things that you've manifested. It doesn't make them wrong. It doesn't make them bad. It doesn't make you inauthentic for manifesting them. It just means that you're here to evolve. You're here to continue to experience more. And I know that I've shared on this podcast multiple times where I've manifested things and then changed my mind, or manifested things and then realized it wasn't what I wanted. This isn't me saying I don't want the things that I've manifested. It's me saying that they have been incredible and I get to continue to build on top of it. And through building on top of it, things are going to change, things are going to evolve, and more of my dreams are going to manifest into my life as a byproduct of that, because I believe at the end of the day, best case scenario gets to be the inevitable for my life. And for every single one of you who's listening, know that best case scenario gets to be the inevitable for your life as well. And when you can detach from what best case scenario looks like, what you think best case scenario looks like, and can just open yourself up to being led, being guided towards what the universe and what God brought you into this human body to do, see, and achieve, then you open yourself up to so much more magic than you trying to control your manifestations and trying to get to whatever it is that you think you're supposed to have and think you're supposed to experience. Being open over the past month has led me to more synchronicities, more opportunities, more experiences than I think months and months of time before that. In the past few weeks, I have experienced more miracles and more blessings and more manifestations coming together than the months prior to that because I've been open versus when I was closed down and was trying to stay committed to the vision that I had created for myself. So stay open. Know that best case scenario gets to be the inevitable for your life, regardless of what that actually looks like. Just trust and know that you are being led to the highest possible path for your life. All you have to do is show up and be willing to lead with vulnerability, authenticity, and openness. So that is what I have for you on today's podcast episode. Like I said, if you are wanting more of me more than once a week on the podcast, go follow me over on Instagram. You can find me in the show notes down below or type in @CatCozad. And I'm so excited to chat with y'all in the next episode. So I will talk with you next week, and I'm sending you all of my love.